What is up, my little Deinos? Vepsis, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreigons, and we are here for the Champions of Galar Season 2 Week 7 battle when we go up against Shaku King and his team being the OK Rillaboomers. And you're gonna be noticing that I'm not gonna be doing a team build only because I'm a little bit short on time. And basically, like, going into this battle, I think both me and Shaku King have been a little bit more busier with work, so we're just gonna jump into this. I have his team of 6 that I'm predicting, like, very briefly that I would see. But it could change a little bit here and there. But there's only one way to find out. And let's just press A. I'm probably gonna be focusing first right the 6 that he brings to my showdown. And if there's gonna be any changes, I'll try to add the mons in. I think I will always have my dedicated lead already decided. So hopefully I will be having enough time to do that in itself. So okay, we see a little bit of change. What is the big change? The Salamence is Cobalion instead. Pretty much everything else is the same. Okay. So he has multiple rocker options, either the Cobalion, Nidoking or Clefable. I would imagine in a matchup like this I could see the Cobalion being that for him. But we'll see. I think my lead regardless is gonna be Raikou. Just to have ideally opportunity to get some damage on Roto-Was. Because Roto-Was, like, in general, as it normally is a pretty free read. Versus most of the people. Similar to something like a Tornadus is usually very good, like a standard lead. I kinda see the Roto-Was being the same thing for him, but it could change. He doesn't always lead with it. But now, actually, since I only got one wrong, I have the time to now already had the layout edited, and now I can just put his mons in here for myself. Okay, so we put in Raikou first on my calcs, and now I'll be confirming my lead. So, going to this matchup, we are 4-2 ourselves when it comes to wins and losses. Shaku King is 3-3, and these are gonna be last 3 weeks for both of us, and I would imagine both of us have to try to aim for at least 2-1 out of our 3 games, including this one. So getting a win out of this would be pretty big for either of us for regards to playoff race. But let's see what he leads with. We sent there, which is the Victini. Okay. I do have a very safe swap-in and predictable swap-in on this, which is my Sentis course. So I'm curious to see that. Should I just swap into it right away? Or do I go for a Volt Switch? I don't see him clicking V-Crate right away, but in a way I do want to play it safe. Because Raikou is still relatively good in this matchup, so I think I'll make the safe swap. He could go for a U-turn. But if he goes for a Scarf... Okay, he swaps first, which tells me that he's Choice Scarf. Okay, Choice Scarf Victini right away intel. That's important to note. As he goes into Nidoking. Now, Nidoking could have a lot of different moves that I would have to worry about. Including a rock move. I could go for a knockoff here. That would mean that if he has rock move, I'd be very tough spot. Otherwise, my switching would be Landorus, but then he could be Sugar Berry. I think I'll play to the idea that he doesn't have Rock Slide and go for knockoff. Yeah, he goes for Stealth Rocks. Okay, Nidoking was the Stealth Rocker for him. But I will be able to get my own rocks as well. And knowing the Victini's Scarf is pretty big for me to be able to do that. He was Choice Scarf on this too. Choice Scarf as well. This makes me think he cannot really touch me all too hard. So I could go into my Landorus. And go for potentially like a U-turn here. The other option is just to stay in. How much is he doing to me? Nidoking. Without a Life Orb. He will be doing like 54%. I think I swap into my Landorus on this. He will see that I have leftovers afterwards. I don't think he's clicking Ice Beam. He's clicking one of his stabs here. Let's see. Get the Intimidate off for what it's worth. Slots Wave, yeah. And thanks to Sheer Force, it will not mean that he gets a poison on me. So Earthquake is relatively free here. If he goes into Roto-Wasp, that gives me free leftovers. Essentially. I think I'll just go for Earthquake here. He could try to predict around this, but if I get rid of Nidoking, it means that my Raikou is freed up pretty heavily by able to click electric moves for free. As he does stay in, good. So Nidoking is dead. He did manage to get up Stealth Rocks, but I got a lot of information already as I score a crit, but it shouldn't matter. Okay. So we got rid of the Nidoking, which is pretty big, which is their 5th. But he managed to get up Stealth Rocks, and my Landers is taking a little bit damage, but he didn't bring his side guard. The other thing I would need this for is the Cobalion, as he goes into Roto-Wasp. This could be Scarf, but it would be pretty odd to see 3-choice Scarfers. But I could be automatic in UBL fighters, I get me off guard by that, but if he's Scarf, he would be locked into Hydro Pump, and that gives me opportunity to go to Primarina and click Moonblast. So I think I'll click U-turn. He is Scarf with it. Oh. He's Choice Scarf Rotom as well. Okay. He was playing it very aggressively. Because I'm pretty sure that tells me, because I'm pretty sure I made my Landers to outpace this naturally. Yeah, that is a Choice Scarf Rotom. So that gives me opportunity to go into this. And honestly, just Volt Switch myself. I could also just click Thunderbolt here just to see who would swap into me, but I see something like a Clefable coming in on this pretty safely. Especially defensive Clefable would not take all too much. He would take 20% to 24%. So I'll just go for a Volt Switch. Reposition myself around most likely being the Clefable. So we have seen Scarf Victini, which I imagine could be honestly trick for my Centiskorch. And Roto-Wasp could be a similar thing for something else to be tricked on. But I've been able to intensify already like a lot of his Scarfers. The way the battle has been going. But again, I imagine the Sventhun, which is the Clefable, yeah. I imagine this was going to be the swap-in. And that looks like special defensive to me. This could be my opportunity to go into Landorus as well to get up my Stealth Rocks, but it could be useful for the Cobalion. So that could be a little ambitious. Primarina could also be very nice swapping here, because it's gonna force something to take big damage, and I think I'll do just that. Because if this Clefable is gone, it's gonna free up my Hydreigon pretty big. So we have seen leftovers. I'll put a standard spread for it. But now we are clicking Moonblast. Something is gonna take a lot of damage here. And we have modest choice specs with this thing. This is going to be, if he preserves this, he's gonna be like 83%. And Moonblast should be always 2-hit KOing this. I wonder what his choice of play would be here, because if he stays in, he's gonna leave him vulnerable to my Hydreigon, which he's aware of. Or even my Necrozma for that matter. He does stay in. He could go for a teleport or go for some utility move. But I do a lot to it. As he goes for a Moonblast of his own. He does get the special attack drop, which is a little unfortunate for me. But this Clefable should be very worn down by this. And right now it would be like 31% I would say. Which is a good intel for me. His swapping to this would be Victini. So in a way this could be a free swapping to my Sendiscos. He could also go into the Roto Wash. I think I'll make this swap into Sendiscos. I think he's gonna go into Victini. If he did swap, I know I'm faster with this, so I think we already kinda knew from the exchange before. Yeah, he does withdraw. Yeah, we sent the Victini. That's what I kinda figured would happen here. And I'm fine going for a knockoff, honestly, because if he tricks me, I get rid of the heavy duty boots he would be taking from me. And Clefable is now low. So I'll go for a knockoff here. And if Clefable ever comes in on my Sendiscots, I know I'm faster than it because my Primarina was as well. He does click U-turn. We could see Roto Wasp, but getting rid of its Scarf would be nice, because then he cannot like trick that to any of my other mons and I get rid of the speed control he has with it. But he just goes back to Clefable, okay. And I would like to think the Fire Lash will kill this, so I'll go for that. If the Roto Wasp comes in on this, if he preserves this as a sack, this thing should be low enough that now it should be preventable for my other things. So he's at 16% if he preserves this. Yeah, he does preserve it and swap again. Hayes, where's the Roto Wasp? Roto Wasp was at 75%, and now let's see how much it's gonna be after this. It's at 55%. I can go Raikou pretty freely on this. So I'll do. There's no reason to take a Hydro Pump or getting tricked by this. If he tricks this away to my Raikou, it's gonna be taking Assault Vest. So then it cannot cripple anything else. But I could see Volt Switch coming out. Yeah. This is fair. He is able to get into a little bit of momentum cycle thus far. But at the same time, I've already put in Clefable very low. And I put in a... Okay. So now I could see something like Trick coming out from him. So I kinda wanna go into my Landorus. If I'm being honest. I feel like that would be his play. He's gonna Trick or U-turn. I'm gonna go into Landorus. Because I think he wants to Trick so the Sendiscos will be crippled by the Stealth Rocks. So I'll make this a little aggressive play here. Because I think there's a good reason for him to click Trick now if he has it. Okay, he clicks U-turn again. So that kind of works. I say it kind of works, because Roto Wasp could come in and click Hydro Pump afterwards, so try to keep clicking Volt Switch as he goes into the Roto Wasp. Here, Hydro Pump could honestly come out. If he goes for those, what would happen next? Then I was just going to Primarina and claim one. I could also just go into my Hydreigon at this point, because he doesn't have a good way to pressure it. And I'm Choice Scarf of my own. I think I'll do the Hydra play. Hydra just needs to be alive for the Spectre. I don't think I should be taking a whole lot from this. As he does go for Hydro Pop and lands it. This is where it's pretty free for me to click a Dark Pulse, because it should be able to pick up the Clefable where it's at. Yeah. So I'll be clicking Dark Pulse here. If he goes into Cobalion, I have Landers to go into and intimidate it down. And I have Rock Tomb to slow it down its speed. Sventhun, which is the Clefable. So I imagine this should die. I get a crit. So I guess it won't necessarily tell him that if I'm boosting item or not when it comes to special attack. But the Clefable is dead, which is good for me. Because I have Flamethrower to hit the Cobalion. Where this thing does show up. Let's see if we see a Air Balloon or something. We don't. So I'll go right away into my Landers on this. And off the chance it's like weakness policy, I have to like Rock Tomb it down. And lower its speed. Because I would imagine the way he's been preserving this, this could be some sort of like wing con he's trying to work with. It is Hydreigon Orb then, okay. Is it special? Sword Dance, okay. So now he's at +1. And now I will be Rock Tombing it down. From its speed. So this could be like Adreno or dual stab and rock move, I imagine. That would be my guess what it would be. He hasn't seen me having any kind of like speed lowering, so he may go for Sword Dance as he does. But I should be able to get its speed back down, which is important. There we go. It won't do any kind of damage. But it keeps it low enough to the point that I can attempt to revenge kill it with like Raikou and Hydreigon combined. Let me just make sure from the Pokemon information, from the info. Yeah, he's +3 right now. So, off the chance I would live a hit, I think Earthquake is my play. As he goes for Iron Head, but I don't think at +3 I would live it. Yeah, I don't. Okay. So my Landers does go down. He would imagine, I would imagine he has to be Dual Dance with like Rock move on it. So Cobalion. How much are you taking from this? Well, switch into Aura Sphere should be able to take it out. So I could be doing just that. I'll go into Raikou regardless. What is the most expendable at this point? Like if I Volt Switch I would go into Primarina, I believe. Yeah, Primarina is the expendable. So I Volt Switch here for damage. So I can revenge kill it afterwards. And now we go into our Primarina. If he's Dual Dance, he should not be having access to... Yeah, he has Stonets on it. And that should take me out. Okay. So now I imagine Aura Sphere should take it out. If Raikou dies... It shouldn't be the worst because it's not as valuable for the other things. So I think I'll go into Raikou and just attempt to Aura Sphere it. As I'm gonna take out my Primarina, which is unfortunately dead, but it did break down the Clefable for me, which was important. He's at 61 or so. Aurasfield ideally should take it out. It could be a roll, but then I have Scarf Hydreigon to finish it off. We go for the Aura Sphere. As it does barely live. Okay. So this thing was able to put some pressure on me, but I think I'm still okay. Now I would have to go into Hydreigon. And I don't know if based on that damage, Dark Pulse will kill it. It might be able to actually, it's 21% it would do the most. Even if he's max HP. So I think Dark Pulse is fine. Yeah. Okay. So my 60 being the Raikou is dead, but so is the Cobalion. Which honestly was a really good set from Shaco-King. It was able to kind of like put the field in a pretty neutral situation now. But having a Scarf Hydreigon is important for the Spectre unless it's Scarf in itself. And I have Necrozma in a high amount of health. That should be able to take any one hit from the most of the things he has left after Stealth Rocks. Okay. The Cobalion is dead. We still haven't seen the Spectre at all from his side. We do see the Victini. Which he's kind of free to go for a U-turn here, I imagine. U-turn would be his play. And if he goes into Sended Scots, this might be a scenario that I might have to let the Sended Scots go down so I get my Necrozma in. We'll see. I go into my Sended Scots for now and let's see what he does. I imagine the... oh, Final Gambit comes out. He was willing to do a 1-for-1 trade then. Okay. Was a little surprised. I was expecting the U-turn coming out. So there, Victini is dead. And so is my Hydreigon. Or not my Hydreigon, thankfully, my Sended Scots. So in this kind of situation, I feel like Hydreigon is free versus either of them that is left. I would like to think. It should be right, because if it goes into Rotom, I finish it off with a Dark Pulse, I believe, at this point. The only way this could go wrong is that if he is a Scarf Spectre or maybe Colbur. The other option is that I go into my Necrozma, because it should be able to live any one hit here, right? Spectre. If he was Life Orb, he could kill my Necrozma. He would have to be boosting item. But I guess my timer ran out, so we regardless go into Hydreigon. Okay. So I guess at this point I would have to just go for a Dark Pulse. Let's see if he's Scarf. I was debating going into the Necrozma, but it would have been a risk either way. It's tough to call, because I don't know his set, so either way this could have gone right or wrong for me to go into Hydra. We'll see. Either way, it's been a really good game thus far, and it's coming down to like wire. And it's like tough to tell, like, at least for me right now, how this is gonna go. What will he do? I am faster. As he goes for Shadow Ball. And he doesn't take me out. He's not in cost up range. Hopefully Hydreigon can actually clean this game out. I'm kinda having a little bit of hope that that might be the case. If not, if he's max HP Rotom, I don't think I kill it, but then Necrozma should be able to take it out. So we go for Dark Pulse. Take it out. Okay. So as long as I just get something damage out to the Rotom with Hydreigon, Necrozma still should be able to handle it. And their Spectre just died. Okay. I think we are out of the woods and we're able to beat Shaco King, which is pretty big for us. But let's see. We still have turns to play, so I'm not gonna be getting too ahead of myself, and I do not have too much time left. I'm noticing. So just click the attacking moves and see what happens. This thing was Choice Scarf as far as I spec-repped myself. So we go for another Dark Pulse. Let's see if this takes it out. It doesn't take it out, as he goes for Thunderbolt. This doesn't take me out. Fantastic. And Hydreigon, my mascot, my favorite Pokemon, can do once again what it's able to do last week. Granted, last week it was like a lot lesser role. I just let it to have the last kill, but this time around, Choice Scarf Hydreigon for the win, and we do manage to beat one of the best players around in this generation in Wi-Fi in Shaco King. Good game to him, very close game at the very end. That was pretty funny that I ran out of time, because in the end it turned out to be the right choice, but you know what, it was pretty risky to go into Necrozma, because I looked at the calc, mainly depending with the Necrozma. If I went into it, I would have been risking if the Spectre would have had a boosting item or not. If it's not any kind of boosting item, Necrozma would have lived it. But in a retro perspective, I think the Hydreigon should have always been the play. Because I shouldn't be risking that. Because off the chance the Spectre would have lived the hit and taken my Hydreigon out, like with a Hyper Beam, it would have given me a free setup opportunity with Necrozma getting to +2 speed, and then I'll clean out the rest of the mons. So, just looking at how what was set up for me, Hydreigon was always the better call for me to do in the end. But make sure to check out my opponent being Shaco King. He is one of the better players around, as I said, and he is going to be at 3 and 4, but he has 2 more games to go, and as long as he is able to win those 2 games, he should still have a chance to be in playoffs. And for all we know, if I do make it myself as well, this could be a potential rematch in the making later on in the season. But thank you for watching. Stay tuned for next week when I go up against one of the oldest Draft League players that we still have around when it comes to his experience, of course, being Lars, aka LC. So I'm really looking forward to play him. So stay tuned for that for next week. And until then, thank you for watching once again, and I'm gonna be seeing you guys.